Let's go to Susan in Chantilly Lace with a pretty... What's up, Susan? In Virginia.
Hi.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, I seriously considered doing this call entirely in song lyrics, but then I realized I'm 40 and I'm tired.
Listen,
so I'll just get to my question.
Listen, I'm in my 40s too. No excuses. We only do song lyrics. I'm in if you're in. Let's do this.
Well, my last Slipknot concert was 20 years ago. That's half my lifetime ago.
Your last what? Your last what concert?
Slipknot.
Oh, yeah. It's been a long time for me too. Long
if
time.
We could do Lori Berkner and Raffi, I'm in.
I can't hang. I couldn't hang. All right, I'm tired and old too. All right, let's just do it.
So my 7.5-year-old daughter seems to have a super high level of self-preservation, and I just kind of wanted to talk through where that would have come from or what we can do to help her and support her, because it doesn't seem like, as I look out on her peers, that she seems to be a bit more than them at this age.
Okay, what do you mean by self-preservation?
So she doesn't really associate with peers that much.
Okay.
She likes older kids, specifically older girls, and she seems to look down on peers, almost judgmentally.
Yeah.
And so my husband and I do a lot to try to not make our kids feel like they're wrong about, I don't want to make her think she's like the way she is wrong. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how hard to push her or what's developmentally appropriate, and just kind of wanted to get your feedback.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay. 7-year-old who's...
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I mean, there's a lot of fun we could have with this one.
Sure.
So out of the bag, and I'm going to throw some things up against the wall, and your job is to tell me when I'm wrong. Okay.
Okay.
And I have no hard feelings. So you can be like, nah, you're wrong. But I'm usually not. Is that fair? Is that cool?
Sure.
Which one of you is like that in the real world? You or your husband, or both?
My brother.
Your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Is he in the home with y'all?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
She sees him maybe 3 times a year, and that's a day at a time or something.
So
and he doesn't.
Your brother.
She doesn't see that.
So that means it's probably you that she's getting this from.
I guess.
It's so great. Okay. So here's a couple of big picture things.
Okay.
Number one, coming out of COVID, where kids got to spend an inordinate amount of time with their parents. Mm-hmm. This is not uncommon. Okay. Kids have, especially younger kids, have been introduced to adult conversations in a way that they haven't traditionally been exposed. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know what your work from home situation has been like. I don't know what the schooling and the masking and the homeschool, I don't know what y'all's situation is like. But the first thing is to think of, has your daughter been exposed to more adult conversations? My 6-year-old daughter has, she would rather hang out with, well, it's not true, not totally, but she's been engaged in more adult conversations or been around more adult conversations than my son ever was, because he was in school with a bunch of other knuckleheads. And so that's number one. The second thing is kids, you can imagine me. You listen to this show very often? Mm-hmm. Okay, you'll get a kick out of this. I was in a counseling conference once, and they were talking about childhood development and the ways to interact with kids. And then the presenter, some fancy PhD psychologist, turns around and goes, oh yeah, we all know this, but I'll just reiterate it. Kids under the age, I think she said 7 or 9, cannot process sarcasm. They can't process it. So they hear the words as facts. They'll even laugh with you. They'll get your jokes, but their body internalizes it as data. And I raised my hand. I was like, I need to stop you right there. Say what? And so when I were saying things about my closest friends in the world, like that guy's an idiot, or, oh, great, my friend Todd's coming over. Todd is one of my favorite people on the planet, but I'm just being a goofy. My son was internalizing that as, Dad doesn't want this guy to come over. And then dad got to watch me smile and carry on and hang out with my friend, and it made my son very confused. See what I'm saying? So if your daughter's growing up in a sarcastic, silly, fun, like, oh my gosh, household, there's an elevated understanding of how the world works. You see what I'm getting at?
I think so.
Is that possible? Are either of those situations possible?
We're not super sarcastic, but we are silly.
Okay.
And she does use sarcasm.
Okay.
So she's definitely, I mean, she would have gotten it from us, but I don't, right. I would have to actually think about that more.
Okay. Think about that more. And by the way, I should have prefaced this whole thing with this. Everything moving forward, please, please, please don't hang on to a shred of guilt. Okay. All we're doing is learning like new skills. Okay. There's I don't want you to hang up and be like, oh no, our daughter's screwed up because of me. Not at all. Not at all. Okay. Your daughter's clearly got two parents who love her a lot, which is going to get her as far as she needs to go. Okay. That's really important. Here's another question. Do you have friends?
Yes.
Do you go hang out with them?
Sometimes, yes.
What does that mean?
Well, yeah.
No,
a lot of it
you
is
don't.
play dates
You
and
don't.
things like that.
Do what?
Oh, it's a lot of play dates, and then I just push the kids away so the moms and I can talk.
So you go. She gets to see you having adult friends.
Yes, and especially this last year. Before that, no.
Okay, so this is like a new thing. Let me ask you another question. And you just alluded to it, which makes me want to high five you. Is she the center of the universe? Meaning, when you get home from work, your husband gets home from work, do y'all have adult talk time, then you send her away?
Yes.
Okay. So sometimes center of the universe, I am a part of the adult conversations, not a part of the kid conversations. Okay. So
she definitely wants to be part of our conversation, and she tries really hard.
Okay. Oh, great. And that means y'all are fun to be around, right? I wouldn't, that's not something to like lose sleep over. Tell me, when she's with her friends, what's the concerning behavior?
So going back a little bit, she was a daycare baby for 4 years.
Okay. And
I came home with my kids, and we were home for a year before COVID hit. So we were kind of internal, like figuring out how we wanted to do things as a family. And we didn't do a lot of social things that year. We started getting involved in our church, and then COVID hit, and then everything came to a complete stop.
And she was 4 about?
Yep. She was 4 when I came home, and she was in daycare from 6 weeks to the day until her 4th birthday.
Okay.
And so for the first 8 months when I was home, she would cry when we had to leave the house. We have to go get groceries. I don't want to go, that kind of thing.
Yep.
And so we just took it really easy and relaxed. She still doesn't want to leave the house sometimes.
Okay.
A lot of the time. Then COVID. So then this last year we homeschooled, we were part of a co-op, and it took her 6 to 7 months to warm up to anybody in co-op.
Okay.
She would beg to leave as soon as it was over, even though I was trying to talk to people and, model that.
Yep.
Try to make relationships. And my son is the social butterfly. Right. So he wanted to stay, but she just begged me to leave.
Okay.
So in the last couple months, I've been able to push her more into play dates and activities. And she walks away from kids. We'll go to the playground, and she'll find an excuse. It's too hot. It's too this. It's I'm hungry. I want to go. I want to go home. Yeah. Doesn't matter what it is. She finds a reason to not engage, even when the kids are super nice and they ask her what she wants to play and what does she want to do. She'll go climb a tree by herself.
Yeah, I think it has less to do with the individuals, and my guess is her body's telling her she's not safe with other people. And I would probably the picture you're painting for me is a very dialed in, remarkable mom and dad. And also a weird glitch in the matrix, which when I say glitch in the matrix, there's a combination of particular bodies. I'm more sensitive to things than my son is more sensitive to things than my wife is. It's like in our response to things, okay? Not in a helping, people when they're sick, but I have a more sensitive body. My ADHD is a response to a more sensitive body. Everybody's got different bodies, right, that respond to things. And so you take a body that's highly attuned, highly relational, highly smart, and every day for 4 years, she misses mom, and then all of a sudden I get mom all the time. All the time. And you can imagine, don't use your thinking brain, but you can imagine a 4-year-old body that's been a little bit high alert. Where's mom? Where's mom? Where's mom? Where's mom? Just suddenly relaxes in a deep way for the first time in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, we're going to disrupt this. And it's like there's a body saying, hey. So what we're going to do is we've got to, over time, teach her body that it's actually safe with other people. Not only is it safe, that's the key to growth and peace and all that. Given as attuned as you and your husband are, I would, if this is my kid, I would take my child to a play therapist and have them do a assessment of my kid. Because I'd want to check and see is she on the autism spectrum? Does she have social anxiety disorder? Is there some play therapy, some ways that we can get to some of the fears behind the actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And kids speak via play. Another thing you may want to try is drawing pictures with her.
Okay.
Say like, hey, we're going to draw pictures of us playing with our friends. And you draw a picture of you sitting with some moms, or I don't know if you play volleyball or tennis or whatever you go do, or you're on the softball team, whatever is going on, and have her draw pictures of her playing with kids. And that often art can be a way, just like play, into a conversation that otherwise, if you just ask a 7-year-old, like, why don't you want to play with everybody? She's like, I don't know. But when you're drawing or when you're coloring, it's another avenue. And the pictures will tell you a lot. Okay. But I would, if that's my kid, I would get with a registered play therapist in my area, and they are magic, and they're really frustrating to watch. If you watch them behind the one-way glass, because it really looks like you're just taking your money and flushing it down the toilet. You're like, what is actually happening right now? And it's pretty magical what can happen with a good play therapist.
Okay. I just watch her stuff things inside. She won't talk. She won't say, what's bothering her. And it's all internal. And she looks at people on the playground when they're laughing and screaming like they're lunatics. I mean, it's like that, if she's in a room and it's chaos, she can't. She hates it.
Yeah. So she cleans it up?
She what?
She'll clean it all up?
Not the room. I mean, like noise, like Sunday school at church. She doesn't like to go to Sunday school because it's just a bunch of kids, yelling and playing.
I would go have her just have a workup done, and they'll give a perception inventory that will let her know, like, bright lights or loud noises or things like that. It may affect her a little bit differently. And again, she may be on the autism spectrum. I don't know how you'd have to sit down and do an ABA assessment, which I'm not qualified to do, but all I have to say is often the sounds, the noises, the experiences, the overwhelming stimulation in an environment, you just slowly over time teach a kid how to A, regulate their own bodies, and B, know when to step out, and C, know how to interact in there, because we gotta get on with our lives. The one thing I would caution you on is balancing her need for relationships, which is important, with overwhelming situations. So if her body is telling you, I can't do Sunday school, it's a lot right now, until you get some more firm answers, I would say, cool, you can come sit with me. We are going to church. We are leaving the house, but you can stay with me. And staying with me involves not talking. You can color on this picture. I will not have a conversation with you. This is not playtime. Mom is engaged in Sunday school. Mom is engaged in her book club. But you can sit right there. You're not going to sit on an iPad either. I'm not going to further overstimulate you. But you can not be in this chaos. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to know.
Yeah, yeah.
It is how hard to she begs me for things to do. She wants friends. I know she wants friends. And then it always turns into, like, I know she's lonely.
Yeah, and that's the scary thing with it. Not scary, that's a dramatic word. That's the heartbreaking thing, because she knows what she's missing, but her body's telling her, don't go in there.
Yeah. And I just feel like I don't want her to be somebody other than she is, but I'm scared that she's going to miss out on the beauty and magic of childhood and fun and tag and friendships, and just because she's so inside.
Okay, two important things. One, yes, if she's got a social anxiety, what they'll do is they'll slowly, it's exposure therapy. They will slowly turn the dial. They'll read books about kids playing with friends. They'll draw pictures of it and they'll talk about it. They'll encourage you to have invite one friend over to your house and let her play there. Right. So we're going to slowly open up the gate there. Right. The second thing is this, and this is the pot talking to the kettle. Okay. This is just two parents hanging out. I really struggled for the first several years of my son's life because he's different than me. And I had a picture of what a great life was. And it was running around the neighborhood with a whole bunch of kids, causing chaos and mayhem and staying up too late and getting in trouble. And that is not my son. Mm-hmm. And I really wrestled with, but if you would just do these things, and he would put his hands over his ear. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what, this is what. Yeah. And so, I would also challenge you, like, let her have her own planet, right? It's going to look different. She may be a person who just keys in on one or two close friends, and you're a social butterfly and you like having people everywhere. Some of that's letting our kids be themselves and letting them be all in on themselves. It's when they really want to have friends, but they can't even hang out with one, right? They can't even hang out with one. All that to say is, man, a lot of these conversations I have with moms and dads, moms and dads are chaotic and they are not plugged into their kids and they're blaming all their issues on their kids. I don't see that here at all. Not even a little bit. I think your daughter won the lottery with you and your husband in a pretty remarkable way. I think now it's a matter of, let's get some professional opinions who can actually watch her over a couple of sessions and see some behavioral patterns. And also, just take into consideration, hey, we're going to have a friend over to our house and we're going to play from this time to this time. And then you can have some quiet time on the back end. I'm not going to force your body into things when it's telling you otherwise. But we are going to have some boundaries, and you're not going to run our household, right? So there's just that fine balance there. But hey, let me know what the child psychologist says, the child counselor says. I'd love to get some feedback on there. That would be really helpful for me just personally. And I want to hear about how your journey's going.